Hey, man.
Happy to be here, dude.
Happy you're happy. Have you ever heard of iodine?
Iodine, like the stuff they put in your blood?
What?
Do they do that during MRIs? Did I make that up?
And I don't know about during MRIs.
Don't they put something in your blood to like make it a color on the thing? Which feels like, I don't know if they should do that. I don't know.
No, it's CT scans.
Oh, okay. But I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so you're close.
Yeah. I don't know the difference between a CT scan and an MRI.
Yeah, neither do I.
That's how you could tell the status of my health insurance.
And so, especially when you're young and when you're in utero, iodine is very important because iodine is what creates this T3 and 4.
I've never been to utero.
Hate that joke.
You hate that you laughed at it, or you hate the joke? Which part of it?
And skim milk is too strong.
Too strong?
Things I learned last night.
Well, I mean, you don't need one.
I don't know the difference between a physical and a regular checkup.
You don't need one as far as
I couldn't tell you
know.
how they check if you've got strep throat versus hemorrhoids. I don't know.
Speaking of like deferred healthcare, I have this thing. I haven't told you this yet, but I have this thing that's been going on for about a year now. Where then this is gonna sound crazy.
I just don't like that I said hemorrhoids, and you're like, speaking of deferred healthcare. This has been going on for like a while.
It's not hemorrhoids. I don't have hemorrhoids.
Okay.
No, there's this thing in this spot right here, right above my knee, where about probably 3 to 6 times a day, it just goes completely numb. And it's like probably a 6-inch in diameter section. And like,
how do you feel if that's numb?
Well, I just.
What do you mean? Like,
here's what happens.
I'm trying to feel my thigh right now. Let me feel it.
No, like here, because what happens is
I can't. Because I
can feel it happening. So like it gets kind of tight.
Does it like tingle? Like what?
And then it starts to tingle, and then it just like shuts off. And then I'll touch it, and I can't feel it. And like it's kind of that thing where it's like
you're talking about the edge of your quad here, right?
Yeah, and it's this thing where like I touch it, and I'm like, I think I can't feel that. I'm not really sure. But it's like, you're touching.
I can't feel that.
You're like when you touch yourself, you're like, am I
don't
feeling
know.
this here? Or am I feeling this here? Am I feeling it here? Or am I feeling it here? You know? And so then one day it was happening, and I was like, hey, Bri, I'm gonna close my eyes. Would you just touch me right here? And she did, and I was like, are you doing it? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I can't tell. So yeah, totally numb. And then after a while, it comes back, and it comes back with the tingles again, and then it goes back into the tightness, and then it just kind of relaxes. So I don't know what that is. Been happening for a while. I should probably see a doctor.
Probably too high of sodium.
Think so?
I think so.
Why?
Because I think that would affect the circulation to that, or you're just really dehydrated. Probably both. But probably a combination of too much sodium and not enough water.
I mean, that's interesting.
That's just my estimation.
I drink a ton of water.
Okay. I'm just making sure I can feel my legs. You got me kind of paranoid about it now.
Everybody feel your thighs.
Am I feeling this
Whatever
right
you're
now?
doing right now,
or is
feel
it
your
just
thigh.
the tips of my finger that are feeling
I don't know if my thigh feels
Hey,
this.
I'm going to close my eyes. Will you touch me? I don't feel that. No.
Yeah, it's stressful. So I should see a doctor.
But you haven't.
I haven't.
Okay.
And I don't have an excuse.
You have health insurance.
I have health insurance.
I also have health insurance. Just to be clear, we were joking. I'm
sure.
I have health insurance.
Don't you think you'd feel a lot better if you had life insurance? And so like I feel like I need to go get this checked out.
Okay.
And the more I think about it, the more it starts to stress me out.
So if you go to the hospital, they're going to put iodine in your blood. Yeah. And then they're going to put your leg into a machine. I don't know how CAT scans work.
I don't know either. And that's not what this episode's about.
Great.
So I can't answer that question.
Well, let's talk about iodine.
I can tell you this is iodine.
Yes.
It is,
it looks like pencil shavings. This looks like, this looks like if you took the edge of the lead pencil and just...
Iodine itself is a chemical element.
Yes.
But this is like a mineral version of the iodine element.
I love when you choose ambitious topics. Like stuff that you're clearly not going to cover well. You know what I'm talking about? Like where it's like, this is iodine and it's on the table of elements. Is that what we call it?
Is that what we call it?
And It's a chemistry thing, and
this
is it in a physical form.
Here's the thing. That's this whole podcast.
Start that. Yeah, keep trying to talk while you're starting the timer, buddy. That was awesome. So, okay,
here it is in like a liquid-ish form. It's liquidizing.
Okay.
The word for that is sublimation. I know that word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's this like purplish element, and this is an interesting thing because it is it's called a heavy metal, and that's not like it's because it's so dense. And it actually does it has a few interesting properties. One of the things that it does is when you put it into a starch, it turns like dark blue or black. And
this is a picture of iodine drops being put on a potato, like a fourth grade science project, by the way.
Yeah. And so iodine itself is purple, but then you put it in the starch and it turns black or whatever. And this is actually used in these iodine pens, which is how we know if US dollar is counterfeit.
Right.
Because
US dollars are made out of potatoes.
That's exactly right. No, they're made out of cloth, not paper, and paper is a starch. And so paper would turn the black or blue when you used it, but it doesn't change.
Made out of cloth?
Yeah. They're like a clothy material. It's not like actual cloth like you think of when you think of like.
Do you have any money to see, or do you need?
No, if you could spot me some money to look at some money real quick.
Here's a couple $100 bills. There you go.
Yeah. This is like it's
cloth.
It's like a cloth. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but that's cold hard cash. That's the sound of someone who just filmed his comedy special, baby.
Do you carry cash?
Sometimes, yeah. I
genuinely don't use.
Well,
cash.
I'm in a lot of scenarios where I have to tip people.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get rich. And I don't carry cash the way that like.
I carry cash when I travel, I guess. Yeah.
We were with a friend. We have a friend who has money.
Yeah.
And, it was one of those things where we were getting ready to, the bill was like $150. And so we were pulling out our card and he goes, "Oh, I got you." And he pulls out his wallet and he just opens his wallet, several bills in there, and just pulls out 100 and pulls out a 50 and gives it. And so I was like, I didn't want to be like, how much cash do you have on you right now?
Yeah.
But I also kind of wanted to know.
How much cash do you have on you?
Because it seemed like he opened his wallet. It's like, that's $1,000
That's a lot
cash.
of money that you're just carrying in cash.
And he's like, yeah, here you go.
That is crazy. Like,
because I was like, I got to rob you.
If I have more than $50 on me, I'm stressed about it.
Like,
I'm like, I gotta get home.
Like
and put this
I
away.
feel like I'm gonna lose it. Yeah.
This has to go somewhere else.
I am the opposite of the Dave Ramsey rule, where if I have cash, it's like not real money to me. Because like real money is in my bank account that is like assigned to bills and stuff, and this is just cash. And my wife's not gonna know if I lost this or if I spent it.
That's so it's like hidden spending.
Oh, and that's probably healthy, I'm sure. Do you do that with your wife?
No.
You don't hide little tiny purchases from each other, and maybe you're just like, oh, she doesn't have to know about this.
Yeah, I just need to take out like $20,000.
I just need to take out $20,000 of cash. What are you, Tim? What are you splurging on? Because like $20,000 now is not an amount that you can get like a crazy good thing for. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just hiding a 2012 Honda Civic from your wife.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's probably not 20 grand. 20 grand could still get you like
probably like a 2019 Honda Civic.
Yeah, probably 2020. No, because mine's a 2017 and it's worth $8, I think.
Yeah.
So
it does depend on the mileage.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Anyway, or like a jet ski. You know,
I have a secret jet ski.
I have a secret jet ski. My wife doesn't know about my jet ski. We don't live anywhere near a lake, and I have no way of towing the jet ski to the lake.
I keep it hidden on the creek behind our house.
$1,000 was those jet ski electronic games from Chuck E. Cheese, where you can just like,
but I can't keep it at my house, so it's hidden behind.
I have rented another apartment.
It's a studio apartment downtown, and all that's in it is my
the studio apartment downtown is more expensive than the rent that I pay at my apartment. It's an elaborate lie that I've been living.
And I also cost me $900.
At that apartment, I have another wife and a kid, and they
play the jet ski game.
I like the idea that you have a whole secret family, but you lead with I have a secret jet ski.
A secret jet ski. The jet ski's the secret.
Yeah, she knows. She knows about everything else.
Yeah. She knows about all that.
She knows about all this stuff. She didn't know about the jet ski.
I'm keeping it in.
That's crazy. Okay.
So Iodine.
Yeah, that's what is used for those pins.
Iodine's used for those pins. And the reason iodine is significant is because it is poisonous.
I feel offended, by the way, when I pay with cash and someone pulls that pin out.
Oh, yeah, because it's like, oh, you don't trust me?
I do feel that way. I go, okay.
Well,
especially if I'm a regular at that place.
Yeah.
I'm like, you think that maybe I'm flattered.
Maybe I'm flattered.
I go,
maybe you. Yo,
what, you think
I'm a criminal?
Oh, you think
stop?
You think I could do crime?
Yeah, it happens to me almost every time.
Gosh.
But the reason it happens to me is because whenever I pay with cash, I say it's real.
Yeah, that will do it. They'll go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. This is real.
And then they go, it was, but don't say that next time.
Why else would I say it's real?
So the iodine, how are you, okay.
So iodine is interesting because it's a poison. It will kill us. But
that's what I'm saying.
Simultaneously, it is the heaviest element that is essential for most living organisms. And so we and most living organisms.
Did you search this up just because like we put iodine on the salt, like iodized salt, and you were like, but that could kill us. And then now you're trying to do an episode about this? Is that how this started? The shame that you have. And then you pull up a picture that you had ready. And here's exactly how this went. You went, wait, but that could kill us. And it's like, Tim, any chemical could kill you at too high of an amount. I could end this episode right now. This is really embarrassing for you that I just got you on that. It's so hard. For the audio listener, he just shamefully, he had this queued up as a picture of the Morton salt. You know, with the girl with the umbrella on it. It's crazy because it's a poison, but like we put it on everything.
So here's the thing. So here's what's interesting about
All right, sorry, I'll let you talk. Okay, no. Go back to the beginning of your script before I said any of that. Here's what's interesting. Here's the thing. What are we doing?
What are we doing? That's so good. So yeah, it's poisonous, but it's also essential for life. Most life. What's interesting is, yes, most chemicals, if you do too much, it'll kill you.
Yeah.
And that's true of iodine. But iodine is significant because the amount we need is very, very small. The recommended like daily intake is 150 micrograms. So it's a very it's smaller than a tablespoon of salt, or a teaspoon of salt. Very, very minute amount of this that we should be taking in. Any more than that, and then it does become something where you're like putting yourself at risk with the amount of iodine that you're intaking.
Okay.
But this has like a very serious health effect. So the part of our body that regulates iodine is the thyroid.
Yeah.
And so here's the thyroid gland. There's your Adam's apple. I got this just because I thought that it was funny that I had that.
It's not. I just wanted to be really clear. Sorry, that sounded mean. But like you pull up a different graph and you're like, here's the Adam's apple, and it's like that wasn't.
I just thought it was really dumb. Like that Adam's apple is not like a medical term. I'm like, who made this graphic? Anyways.
Someone who is trying to get, it's WebMD, dude. WebMD is trying to get normal people to understand things.
Whatever, fine. This is the thyroid. Here's
the Adam's apple.
Here's what the thyroid
So
does.
where is the Adam's apple on this? Just so I, a normal person, so me, a dumb, can understand.
So if you look at the thyroid, see the thyroid?
Sure.
Right above it.
It's attached
a
to your
little thing that
pituitary
looks like
gland.
an apple above it.
Yeah.
So the way this works is your body needs these three, chemicals, T3, T4, and calcitonin.
Sure.
And those things, they provide a lot of functions for the body, but probably the biggest thing is growth. And so especially when you're young and when you're in utero, iodine is very important because iodine is what creates this T3 and 4.
I've never been to utero.
I've
always wanted to visit.
Hate that joke.
You hate that you laughed at it, or you hate the joke?
I hate both.
Which part of it? Which part of it?
I hate that joke so much.
I think I'm going there on a cruise next year.
I hear
Uteronian
it's
cruise.
beautiful this time of year. So T3 and T4, the 3 and the 4 is like the amount of iodine molecules that are in that chemical or in that compound.
Or about vitro?
What?
Have you ever been in vitro?
I think that this joke's still going on. And so a little bit of iodine has to be a part of that compound that goes throughout our body that helps regulate growth and a lot of other things.
Sure.
Your metabolism uses these compounds as well. But this is regulated by the pituitary gland. So the pituitary gland in your brain basically gets a signal, and that signal is, oh, we need some more T3, T4 for all these essential functions within the body.
Okay.
We're a little low. And it sends this chemical TSH, which is a compound that triggers the production of T3 and T4 in your thyroid. So that way more is produced. The problem with this system...
Here's what's insane about everything that's happening on our podcast lately, dude, is that it's just stuff like I'm on the listener side right now, okay? Because so much of our show is you being like, this guy founded the Backstreet Boys, and look, he's got a fake plane, you know? Or this woman won the lottery and it ruined her life. And then sometimes you just venture so far out of your own depths that you're like, yeah, so the pituitary gland. And we're all sitting here being like, I didn't sign up for med school, Tim. I'm here to do a funny podcast. These people are on their way to work right now. They're barely awake. They're here for some ha-has. And you're over here being like, yeah, so the pituitary gland, the TSH combo, we actually need for growth. And it's really important for our foundational growing years. And it's higher in children, but the T3, T4, and the calcitonin. And then, you know, the hypothalamus, you know, the whole...
Here's the thing.
And that's your Adam's apple. And sorry, I thought that was super funny. It's so crazy how you're so willing to venture this far away from the boat, you know?
First of all, funny point. Second of all, I feel like I need to correct you. TSH is what the pituitary gland gives to the thyroid to generate T3 and T4.
Yeah. So sorry. See, that's how little I was paying attention to your rambling earlier.
But what's significant about this?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm in 8th grade science right now. Can I tell you what I did to my 8th grade science teacher? I tripped her. That's true. She was walking and I had my foot out and she fell over it. And then I very stealthily moved my backpack to where my foot was, so she thought she tripped over my backpack. And I know that's me. And listen, I'm not saying that because I'm proud of that. It was funny, but I'm not like...
It was funny, but I'm not proud.
Now I understand. There's so many things you understand as an adult where you're just like, oh, crap, dude.
That sucked.
She was just at work.
Yeah.
That's why she hated us.
Yeah.
She hated us because she was barely making enough money to survive.
Yeah.
And we were awful.
Yeah, we were the worst. Yeah, I think about that all the time. I was pretty rough.
She didn't fall completely. She caught herself. But she tripped a little bit and she was really embarrassed.
Yeah. Broke her wrist.
No, that's what I'm saying. She did not go down to the ground. She literally did that thing where she was like,
whoa.
And then she looked back and I was like, I'm so sorry, my backpack. But it was me.
I did it intentionally. Do you want to apologize for that?
No, she was awful. She was.
Yeah. But was she awful because you were awful?
No, actually. She was awful in the way that was like, if you're an athlete, you're allowed to say and do whatever you want in her class. And if you're not an athlete, you are not allowed to speak in her class.
She also was wearing this shirt that said, please be nice, I'm going through a divorce.
Oh, no. Oh, no, man. I'll tell that story then. And this is a friend that that sucks. I hate that whenever you talk to a friend you haven't seen in a while and you're like, hey, so I was messaging John the other night and just seeing if he was going to come to the show. And then his wife, who I'm talking to, is like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, he said he was traveling this weekend. And she went, yeah, he might have been traveling this weekend. I don't know. And when she says that, you kind of put together what's happening. And I think that if you're going through a divorce, you should have to wear a shirt that says, please don't bring up my spouse. We haven't seen each other in a couple months. It's a really sensitive topic for me.
And it'll be very, very uncomfortable for you.
Because then I got a message later. It was like, hey, just so you know, here's what's happening. And I'm like, I wouldn't have said anything.
If I knew.
I truly feel so terrible about that.
Facebook should add a new status.
And also, like when your friends are going through that, it's like, hey, if she's going to be there, do you want me to like tell you? Do you want me to not invite you?
Yeah, like,
I also
what is the dynamic?
I don't want you to see that we all hung out as friends.
Yeah.
Even if she's not in a picture, I don't want you to see that like we all went out to a restaurant and you weren't invited, and I don't want you to feel like,
yeah,
you know.
Yeah, it's a tough dynamic.
It's tough, man.
Yeah.
So I'll never do that to you. Let's make a pact right now that you and I are never going to get divorced.
Yeah.
So that
we never put each other
in that position.
Yeah, I'm just staying together so I don't make Jared uncomfortable.
I
in
love
public.
my wife a lot. That's I'm going to make that very clear.
Same. I feel like this is the time where I need to do the same
joke.
thing.
It was a joke.
Oh my gosh.
But there's pressure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Gotta keep it together.
Gotta keep it together so I don't embarrass Tim.
Hey, thanks for watching our show. If you like it, a great way to help out is by being a Patreon supporter. Doing that helps make the show possible, but it also gets a lot of perks for you. You can get every episode a week early, ad-free. You get access to a Discord where you can meet a lot of other people who love the show and actually hang out with Jaron and I every month on a hangout. And we're also in that Discord chat all the time, talking with people, talking about episodes and just random stuff in life. It's super fun. There's a way to get birthday messages, a free gift, merch discounts in there. So there's a lot of really great reasons to be a Patreon supporter. You get a lot of benefits out of it. And it also makes the show keep happening. So if that sounds great to you, you can go to support.tilln.com or tilln.com/support, or just tilln.com and search around until you find the links and become a Patreon supporter. We really appreciate you doing that. But if not, right back to the episode, right?
Oh,
Picture that scene.
I don't know why you brought that up, dude. I didn't want to talk about that.
She comes up and she's like, Jared, I think I want a divorce. You're like, no.
No.
We can't
Hey.
We can't do this to Tim.
I'll do anything. We'll work through this. We can't do this to Tim. And she's like, what are you talking about?
I promise.
And I'm heartbroken. I'm like,
Guys,
I'm processing all the feelings. I'm like, oh my gosh, you want to leave me? This is terrible. This is awful. But also like, this is so bad for Tim.
This is so bad for Tim.
My divorce is really bad for Tim.
It's so uncomfortable for him. He's gonna be so uncomfortable.
That's never gonna happen. No, for real, dude. My wife often says to me, she looks at me in the eyes and she goes, we're never getting divorced, right? She'll just do that sometimes.
That's so crazy.
And I go, yeah, I wasn't planning on it.
And
she goes, you're with me forever.
You can't get out of this.
She'll just remind me of that sometimes. I go, yeah, I mean, like, but she'll say it in a way that's like threatening.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I was never hoping, was never thinking. Like, yeah, we're locked in, dude. I love you. I want to be with you. And she's like, good. She backs out of rooms lately. That's the thing she's been doing.
She doesn't move her legs either. She just kind of
freaking move your legs when you want.
No, okay. So what's significant about this is the pituitary gland doesn't have a mechanism to say, oh, we are making too much. It only has a mechanism to see we don't have enough.
Right.
And so if there's something wrong with that interpretation where it's like, oh, we don't have enough, it'll just
keep going.
And
then a lot of people gain weight because their thyroid is out of whack.
Yeah. And so there's all sorts of different issues that could come out of that.
I got my thyroid tested when I was large because I didn't want it to be my fault.
What did they say?
They were like, it's your fault. That's true. Like, I was big. I remember I got the call. It was, and I think you were there for that show. I was in the alleyway of the show where we played at Lemon Drop, and it was like the garage was open.
The Lemon Drop was such a weird venue.
I loved it.
I loved it too.
Modern Craftsman is what it became. But it was like the back area where the garage is open, and what was their band called? The sisters, the Malone sisters, and Jared Statler. Willows something. Was it just the Willows?
It might have been. That sounds right. I thought it was something with an L in the beginning. Maybe I'm wrong.
La Willows.
La Willows.
But anyway, I got the call in the alleyway, and my doctor was like, "Yeah, everything's normal," and I literally hung up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just big."
Oh, it's just me.
It's probably because I ordered a dozen Fazoli breadsticks through the drive-thru last night for $2.99. That might honestly be contributing to my weight gain.
But honestly, such a good deal.
I mean, in this economy. So it doesn't have a way of being like, this is too much.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is it's a growth thing. And so what was a long time issue across the world was this condition called Goiters. And what Goiters was when your thyroid just continued to grow. And
the thyroid would grow.
That's the thyroid itself just swelling. And for most of human history, people did not understand that this was the thyroid. Like all of a sudden, you would just have this growth that would appear, and it would range in size. And so obviously, like, it could be a very
For those
small
listening, it's a giant growth in your neck. Like it's just like it looks like a gigantic double chin that just forms.
This is going to be a kind of disrespectful way to describe this, but picture a human. And then make that human ribbit like a toad, where the like neck.
That is a very disrespectful but accurate way of describing this. I like that you were like, "This is going to sound mean."
And here's the thing: people did not understand that this was because of iodine issues. What they found pretty early on was that sea sponges were a pretty good treatment, and so people would give them doctors would give them sea sponges to treat this. And the reason that worked is because there's a pretty decent amount of iodine in seawater, and so
that's why it's so salty.
Yeah, and so. So no,
that's not why. Yeah. But you went, yeah. What else can I get you to agree with?
So sea sponges were a treatment, and what was interesting is the way we have always historically ingested iodine to feed our system is through the foods that we eat, like through plants we eat, because it's in the soil, and it gets into the soil through rainwater.
Okay.
And so the closer you live to the ocean, the more iodine you're getting naturally through your diet.
Sure.
Because the foods that, or the plants that grow in that area have more access to iodine. The further you live inland, the less you have access to. And even furthermore, the further you live north, in an area that used to be a glacier, even less, because the glacier tore away that soil that would actually have iodine.
Got it.
And so the places where we saw the largest amount of iodine deficiencies were up north, more inland, typically. Europe, where you see this a lot, is like Northern Europe and like the Netherlands, Norwegia, all over like that side of the world. The other issue that you can get from iodine deficiency is a condition called cretinism. And cretinism is a condition that's almost completely eradicated, at least in like the Western world today. And what it is it's a stunted physical and mental growth that results from like fetal deficiency. And so if your mother is not getting enough iodine,
is that what we call? They were like, oh, that's a cretin. Is that the same?
I'm pretty sure that's just like that people from Crete.
Disrespectful and mean.
Like the only
if it's like a cretin.
The only way I've ever heard that used is for people from Crete. I don't know if you've heard that as like a disrespectful way to say that.
Yeah. Have you? Am I wrong? Cretins.
I don't actually know.
Okay.
But it's like a significant. So people who have cretinism, they have a.
Am I thinking of something else? I'm thinking. I don't know. Trying to think of a scenario where it's now you got me guessing. But here's the thing about when you second guess me, I'm usually right.
What are you talking about?
When you're like, I've only heard people from Crete call that, and I'm like, no.
People from Phoenix are called Phoenicians.
Probably right.
No. Cretinism is like leads to a series of disabilities, mental and physical disabilities, because that fetus wasn't able to grow properly. And so it was, and it still is considered the leading cause of preventable intellectual disability is an iodine deficiency during pregnancy.
Okay.
For the mother, because that child isn't getting enough iodine in their diet. And so when this was discovered, that iodine was the thing that we need to prevent goiters and all sorts of other conditions, there was this move in the 1920s to iodize salt.
Yes.
And so this was kind of a slow rolling thing, but eventually,
because even in the 1920s, they were like, "Listen, you know what people love? Sodium. We got to figure out a way to sneak this into their diet."
Kinda. And so doctors basically proposed if we put a little bit of iodine into the salt, and we just like in liquid form, just spray it on some salt, then people will get enough iodine in their diet. Yeah. And this popped up because there was an actual problem in World War I. The army couldn't enlist anybody. Well, I should say couldn't enlist anybody. Had more difficulty enlisting people from Michigan than they had anywhere else in the States, because the people in Michigan, the men in Michigan, couldn't button their top button of their uniform because they all had goiters, because they were inland and they used to be.
They all had goiters?
Not all, but a significant portion of them had goiters. And so they were like, why are there so many people from Michigan that are medically unfit to serve? Because they can't button their top button. And so they started.
That's how it was decided if you were medically unfit?
Well, it wasn't. There's other. It's not just you have this. There's other conditions you have when you have goiters. But that's
Sure.
what made them realize. They're like, you can't button that button. What's wrong with you? And they're like, well, don't you see this thing on my neck? I have goiters.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so then doctors started to research this, and that's what made them say, well, if we can add it to the salt, then we can distribute it more into the population. So in the 20s, this became a really big thing.
Gotcha.
Morton actually resisted it pretty heavily, because what most national salt companies did is they said, we'll just put it in our Michigan salt, our salt that goes to Michigan. And Morton was such a big company, they're like, it'd be too hard for us to manufacture specifically for Michigan, so we're not going to do it. But then when they saw the sales of iodized salt in Michigan, when the public started to understand the point of it, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to do that. And so we're going to do it nationwide. And so then iodized salt specifically became seen as like this healthy thing like you need to have in your diet. And it became a very big deal. And what was really interesting is this is something we haven't discovered until 2013. But in 2013, we went back and we studied the data from the window between World War I and World War II, where iodized salt became the norm. And we looked at the military, what is the exam called? Basically the mental exam that they give.
The presidential fitness exam.
No, it's the mental exam. And so it's the examination that they give the military when they enlist, to just kind of see where they sit mentally. And
I was trying to pull out the ink splotch test, but I can't think of it right now.
Ink blot test?
Yeah, what's it called? The
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, you're on the right track.
Right.
Oh,
Reichner?
You're close. You're so close.
Rechner?
Close.
What is it?
Rorschach.
Ah.
Yeah.
I was so there.
Yeah.
It was a good joke. Let's pretend I got it.
Okay, yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah.
Um.
So they had like the mental military training
Oh, yeah,
tests.
yeah. Like the... Oh, shoot. What's the What's the ink blot test? What's it called? I'm right here with it. Oh, no. Rock chalk?
The rock chalk test.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Rock.
What is it? Google it real quick.
Rorschach Jayhawk.
Rorschach. That's right. Rorschach. Golly, man.
I tried to get. They had the military mental assessment test.
Ah, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, no, what's it called?
I love that I've done that in the previous episode and you fully fell for it the first time. That was great.
This military mental assessment test, what they saw is the average scores compared from people who enlisted in World War I versus people who enlisted in World War II was an order of magnitude higher in World War II. And what that attributes to is about 15 IQ points on average. And so there's a significant leap in IQ.
Speaking of IQ points, can you do an episode on the gifted program?
Like at school?
Yeah.
Does every school have like the same gifted program? Is it the same thing?
There was a national. Did you guys have a gifted program at your school?
Yeah.
Were you in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We knew.
As soon as he sat up, where he went, yep.
Gifted man over here.
No, I knew. We had the vibes. Yeah. Do you think I was in it?
Probably.
Okay. Do you think Tim was in it?
Eh.
We didn't have a gifted
I don't remember what the qualification was, other than being hot. They were like, they took all the hot first graders and they were like, all right, you guys are gifted for sure.
Gifted for sure.
Yeah.
Weird.
I don't remember what there's like standards, at least in, like, and maybe it'd be interesting to see what Missouri's standards were versus.
Yeah. I genuinely don't know anything about it because we didn't have it in private school. Like we had you could take like once you got to high school, like they had like college credit courses.
Yeah, no, this wasn't that.
But it
was different. Well, we'll do an episode about it.
Okay. I'll have to learn about it, I guess. I'll have to get the gift.
Yeah, well, why don't you use this medical interest that you suddenly have to search out. Yay! Hey! If you like this episode, next week we're talking about shingles for some reason, and we'd love for you to.
But this is interesting because this using iodine and salt, they estimate over the course of the 20th century. What are you doing?
I'm looking up this week's sponsor. Hold on. I know that we have like a thing.
Over the course of the 20th century, they estimate that iodizing salt attributed to across the entire population a 180 million point increase in IQ worldwide because of all these people who were all of a sudden ingesting more iodine in utero, which meant their brains were able to grow more while they were a fetus.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so what is interesting is we found evidence that before this, that most locations in the U.S., and you're going to hate this, most locations in the U.S. that did not have access to iodine naturally in the soil, a lot of people still had plenty of iodine in their diet. And the way that they had that, we discovered, was because of dairy. And there was two reasons for this, which, again, I cannot overemphasize enough. You're going to hate this.
Okay.
The iodine link that we had was within cow feed. There was iodine, trace amounts of iodine that was found. So cows had iodine in their system. But what was more prevalent was most dairy farmers used a very similar disinfectant called iodophores to clean their milking equipment. And that would leave trace amounts of iodine left on all of that equipment. And when they would milk cows, that cleaning solution would get into the milk, and people would, through milk and cheese and other dairy, ingest all the iodine that they needed from that, which is...
I love that. I actually think that's really great that we Cloroxed our way out of that.
And in...
why would I hate that?
I don't know. I just think it's gross.
You think I would hate? You think that I, a person who never crashes out, would hate that cleaning solution got into our food supply system, and that was enough of the cleaning solution got into our food supply that was able to, why would I, a person who never crashes out, why would I hate that?
I'm surprised.
I don't know. I realized that we crashed out too much, and then I remember that prisoners listen to this, and it's like they don't give a crap about this. That's not the state of the dairy industry is not on their list of concerns.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've been trying to do this episode for them.
Well, okay, great. Did you not like that? Was that received?
You're making me mad.
Was that received poorly? Sorry, I didn't think that would be received the way you received that.
Okay, so keep going.
So in 2005, there was a big push to remove these kind of chemicals from our cleaning material.
Gotcha.
And what's very interesting is there is a noticeable decline or noticeable increase
drop
in iodine,
the IQ.
Noticeable increase in iodine deficiencies across the states when we did that, because a lot of people were still getting it primarily from their dairy.
So at any point in life, this isn't just like an iodine deficiency. Like if I stopped consuming iodine completely today, I would develop that.
Yeah. So there's
this isn't just
there's two impacts. Like when in utero, if your mother is iodine deficient, then it's going to affect your development.
I need to update my passport for utero. Yeah. I'm going to a music festival there.
So if your mother is iodine deficient, you're going to have issues developing. And so...
What about indignant?
What?
Indignant?
I hate this bit so much. And I hate that I just fell for it again. Yeah. I hate that I fell... Okay. So you're going to have conditions that
indivisible with liberty and justice for... Yeah, I've been indivisible before. I was there with liberty and justice. My pals. You know them.
Liberty and justice.
For all. That's their last name. For all.
For all.
They're twins. Liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, that's a crazy
Indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
I hate this bit so much.
You hate that you're laughing at this bit.
So dumb.
I also am not proud.
Dumb.
Here's the thing about most of my content that I post online and stuff is like people are like, oh, stand-up comedians used to like write brilliant stories and callbacks and these intricate things, and now they just post these clips online, and it's like, yeah, dude, I'm not proud of this stuff either.
Works.
That's what works though.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, I also wish that my intricate, well thought out and well-crafted stories were the things that went viral, but they're not.
Go to a show, you'll see the well-crafted stuff.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Online, you're going to see, I don't want to call it hacky, but it's just like, it's the first level joke. It's stuff that's like, oh, this would hit hard on Twitter. This would hit hard on this.
Because it doesn't take any context. It's just
I've got 8 seconds and you're going to share this with your friend.
Yeah.
And it's like, I hate that. I hate that about the art as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's not why I'm doing indivisible jokes. This is just funny to me. But it's like, Anyway.
So anything in utero, those
Right.
deficiencies cannot be reversed. Like that is a developmental thing. Not developed correctly.
Gotcha.
But once
we can't just pump you full of iodine and fix that.
And I should say too, like as an adolescent, like if you have deficiencies, there's certain things in your adolescent development you're not going to be able to reverse.
Got it.
But as an adult, a lot of these things can be reversed because they are conditions brought on by essentially an issue within your diet.
Okay.
And so if you can supplement that and reverse some of those effects, technically, some of those effects, like if they run on too long, they can create knock-on effects that you can't reverse. But some of them you can. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is really interesting is over the last 20 years, not just because of the dairy, we have seen like a massive spike in iodine deficiency.
Okay.
And the reasons for this all kind of chase back to changes in diet. And so over the last 20 years, there has been a pretty large amount of chefs and consumers who have shifted their usage from iodized like table salt to kosher salts and sea salts. And honestly, like I was thinking about this when I was reading these, like
the little
I can't think of the last recipe I have found online that didn't call for kosher salt or sea salt. Like I don't remember last time it just said salt or iodized salt. It's just always been kosher and sea salt. And honestly, like we have both at home and I've only used kosher for a long time. There's also over the last 20 years been a really big rise in plant-based milks. And so that not only did dairy not only
what, for a second my brain was like milk-based salt. I don't know why when you're like plant-based milk you said milk and my brain was like milk salt. But hey, trademark that.
Yeah.
Milk salt?
Milk salt? That's gross. You like crystallize milk into salt and then pour it on your steak. That fits.
Getting all my nutrients. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Things I Learned Last Night. If you like the show, you want to support us, we've got merchandise that you can get, and it's good stylish stuff that I made. I put a lot of work into this stuff, so it's great to find other TILLN fans in the wild and be like, wait a minute, I know that shirt. And so, we would love for you to do that. You can pop over to shop.tilln.com, or there's a QR code, or there's a link in the description. There's plenty of ways to find it. We promise we made it super easy. So thanks for supporting the show, and thanks for listening. Here's what I hate. I cannot stand whenever someone's like, here's my new high protein dessert. And I'm like, is it cottage cheese? And they're like, all you got to do is you need to combine chocolate chips. And I'm like, it's cottage cheese, isn't it? And they're like, and then you got to get your blender. I'm like, here comes the cottage cheese.
Here comes
and then put one top of cottage cheese. Gosh, dang it, dude. I'm not making cottage cheesecake.
Cottage cheesecake.
I'm not doing it. It's so gross. I need to make that. I need to do some videos where I just react to those. Where I just go, is it cottage cheese?
Is it cottage cheese?
Here comes
that's
the cottage
funny.
cheese.
And that is a kind of hacky joke
is.
that'll work on social media.
Don't ever call it. Don't point at me and go, kind of hacky. Hey, kind of hacky.
Kind of hacky.
Wow, I can say that. That's
okay,
our
sorry.
word.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Is that a thing? Okay, sorry.
As a comedian, diagnosed
comedian. My doctor says I have comedy.
My doctor says I have the gift of gab. I don't know.
So plant-based milks, obviously, like we shifted from having iodine, but cows still get iodine through their diet, and so you still do get some through dairy.
I don't get the. I mean, I get it for lactose intolerant people, but
I don't drink it as like if I'm just gonna drink.
I do
milk.
whole milk.
I honestly haven't drank just a glass of milk in forever.
You shouldn't. That's murderers do that. A lot of our podcast listeners.
If I cook with milk, I'm using skim milk. But for coffee, I use milk alternatives because I do think milk, like even skim milk, is too strong. It's all I can taste. I don't taste the coffee, and so I usually use oat milk.
Too strong.
I do. Like it
Oh yeah, I hate whenever I put skim milk.
overpowers.
Dude, skim milk is too strong for me. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said.
It does. It like
No, I
overpowers
just
the
don't
coffee.
I don't like the
I
flavor.
can't taste the coffee. This
Yeah,
milk
dude,
is
whole
too
milk is
milky.
too spicy for me. It's stupid, dude.
And so we've pulled back on plant-based milks. Processed foods also, iodized salt.
So do you think that we're trying to solve all these other problems and we're creating one that's going to sneak up on us?
Well, kinda, because processed foods though is a little different because processed foods are doing it because like it affects color and they think it affects flavor, but a lot of blind taste tests have said no.
Yeah.
And then there's also been a lot of salt reduction initiatives because like there's public health movements.
I hear the
we're
thing
all
about like the
getting too much sodium and not enough
brighter
water.
colored foods. Like when I worked at Subway,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, dude, these tomatoes are pretty bright red. The banana peppers are very bright yellow. The jalapenos are bright green.
Yeah.
But and I'll be honest, they look more appetizing to eat.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Because when you take that stuff out, doesn't really affect it doesn't affect it at all. They just tell you it does. They're like, oh, if you eat some, and the guy who says it sounds like this. And so it's like, why are we trusting this? And so,
Yeah.
but it looks gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And so what's really interesting is over the last few decades, we actually have the data from pregnancies because we collect this data.
All these
in
people, by the
pregnancy.
way, who do this stuff will fully eat like sour gummy worms or like,
Oh, yeah.
they're like, oh, I just don't want any trace of that stuff in the vegetables. And you're just like,
Well, they're just like
it's
eating.
like,
gummy
yeah, but
worms
when
like
you
chips.
go out, you have cocktails that have more poison in them than this does. It's inconsistent
Yeah.
and it's stupid. It's all anyway, whatever.
We have the data because we collect iodine.
I used to
levels.
eat family-sized bags of Doritos. Do you think I care about a little bit of coloring in my banana peppers? No. I used to sit down in one sitting and have a family-sized bag of Doritos.
which is awesome.
And honestly, I was happier. Maybe that's what the problem
That's
is.
the problem is.
I was happier. Oh shoot, dude!
I should be eating entire family.
I should get fat again, dude. I was so much happier back then. I didn't think about anything. I never worried about working out. I didn't worry about what I was eating. I didn't care about how like the world was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't follow the news.
All it was just food.
I was fat and happy. Oh no!
Hey, that could be a name
Fast
for-
forward to a year from now. Clip this so next year when I'm just sitting over here like,
Honestly,
and then I'm over here like,
Honestly-
that didn't work.
honestly-
It still sucks. Everything's still bad. I hate this.
honestly, it would be great for another special to like just commit to that bit and
So, like,
call it fat and
fully
happy.
Fat and happy, where I just gained 100
Really
pounds.
fat.
And I was like, yeah. No, dude, it's so hard. Like losing weight is so difficult.
Yeah.
That it's like I'm so terrified if I ran it back.
Have you seen you watched Always Sunny, right?
Yeah. Where
That
he does
season
that,
where
they
he
do
gets
that bit.
Fat Mac?
Yeah, but like and this is the thing, dude. They can pay for it, and that's because he talked about that in an interview where he's like, people are like, oh, how did you get shredded? And he's like, well, you got to be able to pay someone to make the meals for you and pay a trainer to come do all this. Like it's and here, you know what? Okay, not to crash out on comedy stuff again, but I found out a comedian that I follow who is funny. I'm not trying to take away from their art, right?
Yeah.
They are funny, but I found out their dad's the CEO of the company that owns Grand Theft Auto. And I was just
gosh.
like, oh. So it's like, if this doesn't work out for me,
Yeah.
then I have to go get a normal job
Yeah.
and like live with the pain of like, yeah, my dream didn't work out and now I actually have a bunch of debt because of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it doesn't work out for that guy, he's fine.
Yeah. Nothing happens.
And it's like, art.
And honestly, even if it works out for that guy, also nothing really happens.
What I'm saying is that, and people are like, oh, you're just jealous because they have financial security. Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. Like I'm not,
jealous of that.
I'm trying not to be bitter about it. I'm not like saying it's their fault. I don't fault them for that. I'm not saying we should strip them of their financial security.
Yeah.
I'm saying Yeah, if of course, if I had the financial security, I think my jokes would be a lot better because I could think about stuff that wasn't, oh my gosh, making sure that all this stuff's
time
paid.
on survival. Yeah.
For
Which
real.
is a genuine thing, and a genuine thing about human history is like when the society at large had the most amount of population who was financially and like physically secure in terms of like the majority of their base needs were taken care of.
Yeah.
The society advanced way further.
Yeah.
And I do think I saw this.
Hey, we're borderline crashing out right now, but this is valid. This is valid.
I saw this recently. Oh, what was it talking about? I saw this recently talking about the arts.
The Rorschach test.
No, it was the podcast you sent me. He talked about the arts, and he said,
that's what I'm saying.
The biggest signal that a society is failing is when the arts begin to fail.
Right.
Because that is when people.
There was a really good interview. Chris Gethard's been out here doing some interview circuits kind of thing about the DIY stuff because I just filmed my comedy special, and I paid more for my comedy special than I did for my wedding.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that and that's what I mean is that if I had the financial security, I could take bigger risks.
Yeah.
I had to do this on kind of like a pretty tight budget.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's going to be great. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't make that money back, I'm just out that money.
Yeah.
And that's like...
And that's something that you feel like financially at the end of the day. But yeah.
That's something that's like, I will feel the pain of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that did put a lot more... And this is what I mean, is that during the filming of it, the pressure of filming this special to a level of performing and then editing and doing this special in a way that will make money made the product worse, I think.
Yeah, because you're like trying to. It's that you're trying too hard to look like you're not trying that hard.
It's the whole thing of like you play. It's like whenever if you're an athlete and the college scout shows up and then you're playing good, you're playing well. Like you're not playing, you're not flopping.
Yeah.
But you know that you have played better.
Yeah. And like it's in your head. You're in your
head. That's what I mean, dude. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really not trying to cry. I'm just trying to that is like the state of what this is there used to be other paths for me to have an income alongside what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But now all the paths are 40-hour-a-week jobs. Like there's no good part-time job that I could get that's flexible enough to be doing what I'm doing as well.
And a lot of the reliable income paths can just be overnight.
I know, dude. I got demonetized on TikTok.
Yeah.
I was making some decent money from TikTok, and out of nowhere they were just like, it's unoriginal content because they flagged the podcast clips as me taking from YouTube.
Yeah.
And I appealed it, and I was like, hey, this is my podcast. I'm the person in the clips.
Yeah. This is see me? That's me.
And they rejected the appeal. So I'm not able to monetize again for another month. And I go
that's so insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm not trying to cry. I really am grateful this is my job. I'm not trying to complain. But that's also what I hate too, when people are just like, when I go, well, we should figure out some better systems for artists to be able to live like this. And they go, okay, well then just quit complaining and get a real job. Okay, delete your music playlist on Spotify. Never watch a movie again. Never watch a TV show. Don't watch a comedy special. Turn this podcast off.
Close your eyes. Don't open them ever again.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Never go to a concert.
Yeah.
Never. If you don't think that this should be a real job, then don't go.
Yeah. I agree with you. Wholeheartedly.
Anyways,
you want to talk about iodine?
Yeah. How does iodine fix all that?
Well, actually, kind of.
It got hot in here, dude. Did they turn the AC off?
It's possible.
If we have new neighbors and they like it hot.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell them today. Be like, hey, put a hoodie on.
So we have the data because during pregnancy, that's something we track is iodine levels because it's important. And in 1971, the average iodine level for a pregnant woman was 327 micrograms a liter. Now it's 144 micrograms a liter.
Okay.
And so it's about cut in half. And we can see that in IQs across the country. Like it is a noticeable dip in IQs. And theoretically, as we watch kids who were born after the year 2000 grow up, I think there's a higher chance that we're going to start to see these effects of thyroid disease and deficiencies and potentially even goiters come back.
Really?
Because our diets have almost completely removed these. People are not eating iodized salt. So all this to say, and I do need to be very clear, there are some snake oil salesmen online that are selling like supplements. Like you don't need supplements.
Yeah.
You can just get iodized salt and just use iodized salt when you cook. There's been lots of taste tests that say that it's not noticeable. Some chefs will tell you can tell. They're wrong. It's not noticeable.
Yeah.
Maybe a chef can tell. Maybe someone who's like an expert and they're around this all the time.
They
tell.
can't. They're just pretending.
But you're not going to be able to tell. Just cook with iodized salt. You don't need to like go check it. Like just get enough. Like just eat. Whenever you use salt, use iodized salt, and you're going to have enough, and you're going to be fine. And you're going to be smarter. Your kids are going to be smarter for it, and you're not going to fall apart.
I can't believe that's what the topic you chose. That's pretty wild. When you're cooking, I guess. Who cooks anymore, by the way?
Here's what's I cook. Here's what's interesting.
He does not.
In the
by
U.S.,
the way.
yes, I do.
You sent me a
actually
picture
tonight,
of your dude. Putting a lean cuisine in the microwave is not cooking. To be clear,
No, tonight
you eat lean cuisines.
Tonight I'm making steak.
Tell people you eat lean cuisines. Tell them the truth.
I actually haven't ate lean cuisines in a while, and I should eat lean cuisines again.
No,
because I am eating pretty bad. Here's the thing.
Lean cuisines are not good. Okay.
No. Hey,
hold on. We didn't do our sponsor
higher
for
calorie. Okay, yeah, we can do a sponsor thing, and then I want to come back and close it with one more thought. But we can do our sponsor. What's our sponsor?
Well, our sponsor this week was Lean Cuisine. Until
they pulled it after that bit.
So,
they called us when they heard us record that.
All right. This week's sponsor is this 1986 Ford F-150 listed on Facebook Marketplace. It's currently $3,500. It is a 4.9 liter 6-cylinder engine, 4-speed manual transmission. So that's kind of like a good thing to know. They replaced the brakes, the rotors, the master cylinder 2 years ago.
Wow.
And this truck has not been driven much in the last several years. It's definitely like a vintage looking,
sick.
The
that
red leather interior, pretty
sick.
good.
Well,
so I will send all this to Robert. $3,500.
Hey, how many miles?
That's what I was trying to find out. 137.
Hey, that's pretty high, but workable. There was a guy who was on Conan O'Brien years ago because he got his engine over 1 million miles. And I mean, he meticulously maintained that thing, but he did. So
pretty crazy, right?
If you just work on it, it'll keep going.
And that's why every day I put iodized salt in my gas tank. Just to make sure that everything's going smooth.
It's good for the car's thyroid.
Don't put sea salt in there.
Yeah, that's not right. Don't put kosher salt in there. It doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This problem is confined pretty heavily to the U.S., a couple other Western nations, but pretty heavily to the U.S. because most Western nations, when all this stuff was discovered and we started iodizing salt, the process was like moved into law that all these nations have to iodize their salt. When in the United States, they just have to have this label underneath that says this salt supplies iodine, a necessary nutrient, where a kosher salt or sea salt says it does not. It just has to have a note that says this doesn't provide it. It doesn't have to.
Okay.
They just have to tell you it has it or it doesn't have it. And so in the United States, people get the choice. And because of that choice, we're all dumber.
Okay. So the next time you're cooking, you open the freezer, you pull out the lean cuisine box, put it in the, you peel back do you peel or do you puncture?
It depends on the lean cuisine.
Okay.
It depends on the meal.
So you give it a little puncture with a fork. All right, you put it in there. Beep, beep, beep. Put on some music. Wait for your lean. Light a candle. No.
Oh, relaxing music?
Like a fiddle off.
Okay. Okay. Let me try it again. Oh, Rorschach.
Maybe the next episode will be better. Hey, speaking of the next episode, you can watch it right now on Patreon. We have next week's episode available for the people who support us. It helps grow the show. And also, I could not even think of an episode to suggest for this.
Pick an old guy because
I
he might have
cannot even
Just
suggest.
pick a guy from a long time ago.
How about this? How about Kellogg? Go look up Joseph Harvey Kellogg.
That's
because he thought that the gut was the central part of the whole life, and so he thought that your diet was very important.
Yeah.
And then whatever. Share the episode. You're not here. You've already exited out of it. Whatever, dude. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll see you next week.